There's been a lot of headlines and noise about the National Association of REALTORS, NAR, lawsuit that was settled on Friday. I want to take the opportunity to clear the air. Many of the headlines you see in the news say that NAR has agreed to slash commissions. NAR has never set commissions. I discuss with my clients the value I'm bringing in exchange for my compensation. They can list with me, or they can list with someone else. Some sellers won't list with me because they prefer to list with a limited services broker, as opposed to a full services broker. That is their decision to make. Realtors are super cognizant of antitrust laws. When we have agents of various brokerages meeting at events, for instance, our local, state, and national business meetings, where realtors take time away from their families and busy schedules to advocate for private property rights and home ownership, which, by the way, we're the only group out there looking out for the interests of homeowners. But at those events, we never ever discuss commission amounts. Why? Because we never even want to insinuate price fixing in our industry. So saying that NAR has agreed to slash commissions makes no sense. Here is the truth about the settlement. Compensation offers will be moved off of the MLS. Offers of compensation will be prohibited from the MLS. They will continue to be an option consumers can pursue off MLS. This goes into effect mid-July. Buyer agreements will be required. Agents working with buyers will be required to enter into a written representation agreement with their buyers. This goes into effect mid-July. So what does all that mean? Agents are compensated for the services they provide for sellers and for buyers. There's seller commission paid to the listing broker, and there's buyer commission paid to the buyer's broker. Historically, both commissions were included in the sales price. The purpose of MLS cooperation rule is that the cooperating broker has the right to know their compensation if they are successful. Starting mid-July, we'll no longer be able to even share cooperative compensation on the MLS. Sellers can decide whether or not they want to offer compensation to the buyer's broker. If sellers elect not to offer a compensation to the buyer's broker, buyer will have to pay their agent out of pocket based on their signed buyer agreement. Because of this, many buyers will rule out houses that do not offer compensation because they can't afford to pay for it out of pocket. And it won't be easy to decipher which listings are offering buyer compensation and which listings are not, since it will be prohibited to display in the MLS. Therefore, it makes it harder to serve our clients. We can still ask agents whether or not their listings will provide compensation, but the Department of Justice is forcing us to do it outside of our MLS. Our MLSs were created to facilitate cooperation between buyer and seller brokers and promote a level playing field between small and large brokerages and an equal opportunity for all home buyers and sellers. Without offer of compensation to buyer brokers, consumers will be harmed. In particular, first-time home buyers and low-income buyers who cannot afford representation. If the offer of cooperative compensation goes away, veterans will be harmed. The terms of VA loan says buyers cannot pay for an agent themselves. They would forgo benefits of having a professional advocate. And if buyers do pay for their own representation, understand their down payment / offer price will reflect that. Additionally, all realtors will be required to have buyer agency agreements signed with our buyer clients. If you are a buyer, understand that you will need to sign an agreement with your agent that will likely include compensation offerings you'd be on the hook to pay if you can't get the money from the seller. I'm tired of hearing slander about realtors. The truth is, everything realtors do contributes to a healthy marketplace. The GDP of America depends on houses selling. The litigators called us a cartel and dehumanized us as money-making machines. The average realtor makes less than $50,000 a year. The idea that we are colluding in any way is completely ridiculous and untrue. Buyers need representation. Sellers need representation. We are versatile. We will adapt. I have a message for my fellow realtors. When you enter the ring and get punched in the face, the last thing you want to do is doubt yourself. Articulate your value. As buyer agents, we have not done a good job of that. We handle things behind the scenes and don't go over all the things that we do for our clients so they can achieve their American dream. Get better at conveying your value. We were told there would be years of appeals before anything came to fruition. Well, that wasn't the case. This settlement is over. There's no going back. You can't control the outcome. Similarly, you can't control what the Fed does with interest rates. You can't control the supply of inventory. You can't control the national election. You can't control other countries going to war. However, you can control your reaction. You can control how you move forward. And most importantly, you can control your attitude. I'm going to share with you some wise words that Gino Blafari, the CEO of Home Services, shared earlier this year at a RIS Media conference. Struggle is necessary for human growth. Struggle is necessary for survival. When times are challenging, like they are and will be, it's the difficult times and the struggle that makes us great. Unexpected times of struggle define our character. Don't wait for things to get easier. It never gets easier. You just get better at handling hard. Any meaningful pursuit of life goes to the people that handle hard well. It's the hard that makes you great. It's the willingness to do the hard that separates you from the competition.